network. He said like site to site something is different. Then I am not aware, I said. And what is point to site? Point to site, I am not aware that, I said. Like that is from laptop to cloud, how you connect.
Correct. So your answer was towards the direction, but not correctly. That's why we say the site to site, right? Wrong.
Right.
So let's say we discussed 2 points, right? Wrong. One is a peering, right? Wrong.
Uh-huh.
Peering is one way. Okay.
Yeah, peering is
Another
that within the cloud, right, sir? That one?
within cloud, right?
Right.
Wrong.
Uh-huh. He asked me
Now,
that also. I answered that.
yeah. Another is using VPN gateway, right? Wrong.
Okay.
VPN gateway. We can use that also. And site to site, when you are having connection from your two co-locations, okay, means our HP office, okay,
Okay.
HP office from one location is connecting to HP location of another location, like in Oracle, okay, the dairy circle, right,
Uh-huh.
OTP to what is another location is there, to that location.
Right.
That is a site to site. Okay, coming to this is completely again comes with the lease line and the service provider. Similarly comes with the cloud as well. Okay,
Okay.
cloud, you can say the hybrid connectivity also, right? Wrong.
Right.
Hybrid environment, when we are using a resources, that becomes a hybrid environment, but connectivity becomes the site to site. This we discussed when you attended this interview. I believe this we discussed in the last session only, this particular topic.
Yeah, recently last week only I attended, sir.
Okay, then you might have not revised. Okay, so
Uh-huh,
that
right.
yes, okay, but you was to the point, but not accurate. Okay,
Uh-huh.
any other question for
And
others knowledge you want to discuss?
and one more question he asked me. Actually, I have resource in US as well as India, and in global I have different reasons. Like I'm using cloud, so I want to restrict users applications. And one more,
Correct.
I have one more question, sir, that later I'll ask you. And he asked me that how will you restrict them? I don't want to allow them who are using.
Correct.
How do you do
So
that?
do you remember we discussed something called a policy?
Yeah, actually, I missed that.
See,
I
two
was,
things, right? So two things here.
I
If
didn't attend that
if
session.
we want to restrict from the user login perspective, okay?
Uh-huh.
So once we are creating a user, we can say from this particular location. But in
No,
this
no,
case,
sir. He asked me that VM access. He has created two VMs, one VM in US, one VM in India. So I
no
don't want
problem.
to, I don't want
That's
to
what I'm
access.
telling, right? So
Okay, okay.
one is a user login. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
that's what I'm saying. That will not work here. Okay, because if that user is coming from that country, then it will allow, not allow. So this is a one part. Another is a policy.
Okay,
Okay,
okay. Uh-huh.
using a policy, we can restrict. Okay,
Okay.
so policy should be the answer here. Okay, not the location parameter when we creating a user. Okay,
Okay, okay.
so hope Saik and Prashant, we are on same page, right?
Sir, VPN and gateway, application gateway, both are different or same?
No, are different.
Okay. He asked me that one thing I didn't remember exactly the question.
So
He
what is the
has,
difference between a load balancer, application gateway, and
yeah, he asked me that also, sir. What is use of load balancer?
correct? Okay, so we'll
Yeah, how,
discuss that yet to come.
yeah. How do you
Uh,
configure? And if I want to access
using DNS.
something else, he asked me that, sir. I didn't remember.
So question needs to be so if we,
Application gateway. Suppose if what is application gateway? How it will function? He asked me.
correct is this is if you ask me, everyone will ask these questions. Okay,
Uh-huh.
because most of the works as an infrastructure as a service, IAS go
Uh,
through this layer. Yeah, so no
he
problem.
asked
It's a
around
good, right?
15 questions. I answered only 5 questions. The rest of
No
10.
problem. See, but do one thing: prepare a list of all such questions. Okay,
Uh,
and start preparing. Trust me, in 3-4 interview, it will you will be clear. Okay,
uh,
but prepare.
just I attended like how it will be.
Oh, Okay, guys. So Prashant, any question? Sai, any question?
Ramesh has started giving interview also.
Yeah, yeah.
Great, yaar.
No, it's a good, right? So you will get some knowledge. So you can check the answers with me, even if some question I'm not knowing. So it's a good, right? So there is no point when you start for the interview. Just go. Only you will get filled, but you will even learn out of that, right?
Yes, very, very good.
You will learn out of that. Hey, so Sai, any update for the Aslan?
Arsalan is not joining.
Okay. So
So I have one question. Okay,
please
actually
go
I
ahead.
am preparing for AZ900. So
Okay.
I have some
Shoot it.
doubt. What is difference between availability set and a skill set?
Availability set and skill set, right? Wrong.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen. Okay. If not this, it should be availability set, as we discussed. Okay. From the hardware availability perspective, or we can call it a resiliency. Okay. High availability. Got my point?
Yes.
If this is my availability set, okay, and this is my skill set, please try to understand, right? What this availability set does, okay, what this availability set does, I say I'm creating a one VM, okay, in availability set, right? What does it mean? By default I say 2 FD and 5 UD. Okay. Now what is FD? FD is nothing but is a fault domain. UD is nothing but is a update domain. Got my point? Fault domain and update domain. Now this VM1 is there and VM2 is there. Got my point? Now let's say these both VMs are part of this particular availability set. Okay. At any given point of time, if any given point of time, if there is a maintenance, okay, there is any fault, any activity from the service provider end, any activity maintenance from the service provider end means I need to switch the power. Okay. I need to update my host system, my hypervisor. Okay. It cannot bring down both the VMs at the same time. Okay. So if there are two VMs, first it will do the maintenance of the host on which this VM is there. That time it will internally automatically relocate this VM to the another host so that your availability is not getting affected. Got my point?
It is just like active node or active passive node.
No, these are all active, but
Active.
But if I would correlate with this answer, probably that is not the right, though these are both active. Okay. Now, if let's say there is one rack, right? Wrong. Rack one. Servers are always put up in rack, right? Wrong.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
See, there cannot be the common power supply for both. There cannot be. So this will come from the different power supply. So if you look at now, this for this network come from the different, means hardware level also, these are the two different fault domain. Okay. Fault domain is a confusing term, but you can say the faulty area or to avoid single point of failure. For this network come from here. Now you tell me first way, if my this network is down, do you have application availability? Availability using VM2, right? Wrong.
Yes.
If this power supply is PDU, power display unit, PDU is down, power supply unit is down, UPS is down, generator is down, means total power. Even I'm having a power supply from this location. This will be a Gen 1. When I say Gen 1, generator 1, generator 2. So this is most unlikely that both the generator will go down at the same time, right? Wrong, or both the circuit. Is that clear?
Yes. Yes.
This is availability set. Now what is scale set? Okay, what is scale set? This VM, sorry guys, dog is barking like anything. Okay, so this is my load balancer, right? This is my load balancer. So traffic is coming from the globe. Hope it's not barking on me only. No. Okay, so for anywhere, if let's say you are doing some purchase, from the big bazaar or Amazon, right? How are you really worried about how your connection management is happening? Not really. But do you think every person can do his or her transaction using a single server or single VM? That's also not possible. And Indian Railway Tatkal reservation is an example of it. We do not get a session itself, or we do not get our session completed itself due to the resource crunch. Right? Wrong. What skill set does, based on my skill set policy, okay, based on my skill set policy, once the loads comes greater than 50%, 75%, the metric which I defined for the threshold value I defined for the particular matrix, it will automatically add more instances. It will automatically spin up more instances. This is a skill set. Okay. Now this skill set comes, if you ask me, scaling. Okay, scaling. So there is a one horizontal scaling and there is one, look at this, vertical scaling. Okay, I'm not sure we have discussed this topic in the current session, current batch, but look at one thing, right? Now we have a one Oracle DB, right? We have an Oracle DB. This Oracle DB, if running low of the resources, what we do, we add CPU, we add RAM. Is that correct, guys?
Yes. Yes.
Does it require a downtime or not?
Yes, it is.
It's required a downtime. It's a mandatory, because any effect of the hardware will not come into effect for CPU and memory until unless server is not rebooted. Even in our environment, this is a generic definition, but this particular environment, even we cannot add CPU and memory without shutting down the servers, right? Wrong. In traditional physical servers, virtual servers, some hypervisors allow to add CPU and memory on the fly, but it must be rebooted to get the benefit of the added CPU and memory. So this really doesn't fit into my this environment, because if the server is going down, all my connection will get terminated and there is a downtime. To avoid this, the scaling or the skill sets comes into the picture. What it will do, this server is coming low on capacity. Okay, then what we'll do, we'll add one more server to the same configuration, and this server will be a replica of this server. Okay, and these servers are already given as in a template. Okay, now even with these two servers, resources are being hit, then we'll automatically add one more server to the configuration. So now the load will be distributed among three, and this will go up to the max limit of the skill set. Okay, guys. So this is a difference. So this from your design perspective, it cannot add or remove any resources. It can add your resources horizontally. Okay, vertically it's need a reboot. For horizontal it doesn't require a reboot. So this particular skill set is used to automatically manage your resources based on the consumption or a utilization and keep your cost low. Now let's say after 2 hours load is reduced, so automatically 2 instances will be get terminated. Which instance will get terminated? Based on certain things. If this is an availability zone, if there are 2 instances in availability zone, if this is not a master, this is in a second instance. So which one is an older? In this case, if they are in a single availability zone, this is an older. If this will get deleted, or if is a anyone is a faulty, that will get. And this all connection mechanism happens using load balancer. Okay, that we will discuss. Is that answers your questions, Ike?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So can someone please help me with what we were discussing when we have last session, where we were actually? I'm not remembering. Can someone help me?
We have completed gateway, both gateway.
We completed gateway. Is which part it is? Okay, so we confuse VNet peering, service chaining, demonstration VNet peering. I believe this is done, right? VNet peering, we all done, right? Yeah, this is done. Yeah. SKUs. Yeah, this is done. I believe the 5 chapter was done. Okay, VPC pairing was done. Yeah. So we were here, where, right?
Yes, yes.
So understand now network traffic management. Okay. Now there are 4 lessons. Fourth one is as usual, is for the lab. Okay. Now network routing and endpoint. Okay. So what is an endpoint? Can someone tell me?
Endpoint is used for the connectivity.
End user.
End user connectivity.
Yeah.
End user connectivity, not end user, right? Or end user?
Oh, it is used for end user connectivity.
Yes. Okay. Now system routes. Okay. when we talk about a system route, the system routes direct network traffic between virtual machines, on-premises network, and the internet. Hope we all know what is the route is, right? If I say here, if I say ns lookup www dot, see, I don't know about this, but it will go via some devices, some servers, some resolutions, right? If I say again, I'm not remembering pathping www dot is an a Windows or Linux command. Okay, yeah. So if you look at, it is doing something now. Where to go, how to go. So if I want to travel from Bangalore to Delhi, right? Wrong. In that case, I need to know how to travel, which route I should select, right? Which train routes I should select, which is a suitable for me, which is the fastest I need or longest I need. I need the performance, right? Wrong. I need the security. So many factors comes into the picture. Similar, the routing comes into the picture. Now, if I say very simple in a network, and hope everyone is aware about it, I want to connect to the Google. Very simple. I'm here. So simply what I will say, this is my PC. This will go from this IP to my modem IP. This modem IP will go to the service provider DNS, nearest DNS. Now it will look at for the global DNS for it. Okay. And the route for it might be circuits are coming like this. Okay. And I believe as per this distance, this looks good for me. But let's say this is in a 10 Mbps, right? This is in a 10 Mbps. Now this circuit is on a 1 Gbps, right? This, if I talk about this particular line, is only for the 100 kilometers, whatever you call it. Okay. And this is 500 kilometers. So as an speed, so which one you will select if you have given some choice? Okay, there are two choices. Which one you will select? Definitely, I believe you will select this only, right? Wrong. At any point of time, you will get high bandwidth using this link. Similarly, automatically, all the internet devices, let it be cloud, non-cloud, doesn't matter, based on the network component configurations, based on the network component configurations, it goes with different routes. It goes with the different routes. Even if I need from this particular customer, only the connection should go via this link only, that is also possible. Okay, that is also possible. So if something automatically by default, the system is doing routing based on the certain parameters, or let's say if this goes down, this also goes down, then it will select for the next available path. Let's say this becomes our system routes. So the traffic between VMs in the same subnet, which is by default allow, okay, between VMs in different subnet in the same virtual network, okay, same subnet, different subnet, okay, data flow from VMs to the internet. This is, if this is a subnet, is going to the internet here. Communication between VMs using VNet to VNet VPN. Okay, look at this, virtual net to virtual net VPN. So one VPN to another VPN, right? From one VNet to another VNet. Okay. One thing was peering, another, this is VNet to VNet. Okay. Site to site and express route communication through the VPN gateway. Okay. This in all places, the system routes work. Okay. But I don't want that. If I do wish, I should be controlling my traffic based on my requirement, I can do so. Now, this is my cloud. All the environment is here. This is my on-prem. Now, I will take this as an example. Control Z. Let's say this is my Express route, right? My customer gateway, my local private gateway or a VPN gateway. Okay, a VPN gateway. Now, if I want, and I'm having, let's say, the 3 subnet here, right? And by default, this all will communicate. Okay, by default. But if I want to stop that no server from this particular subnet should communicate with this, I can do so using my custom routes. Okay, because this is a default nature. Okay, the moment we create any network, virtual network, okay, hub VNet, okay, in this hub VNet, if you look at whatever subnets we will create, okay, whatever subnets we will create, by default they will communicate to all. Okay, by default. If we want to put some restriction over here anywhere, then we can have our own routes. Okay, that we'll discuss. User defined routes, custom route, UDR. Okay, UDR is nothing but is a user defined routes. Custom routes is the same. A route table contains a set of rules called routes. You know the route table that specifies how packets should be routed in a virtual network. Now, I'm having this route table. I'm having a 2-3 VPCs. Okay, and I say only from this VPC the traffic should go, or from these 2 only subnets the traffic should flow on. That is how we can control it. Is that clear, guys? In AWS,
So
and
system
in
route is a
Azure,
by default route.
yes. Okay, there is a difference here in AWS and Azure. As this is an MS product, this system routes by default AWS takes care of it. Okay, but in AWS, if you want to move any traffic irrespective of anything, you have to update the route table. Okay, if I talk similar, only within VPC the system can communicate is the system route there. Okay, otherwise for every connection we have to update our route tables. Like a Azure, you cannot connect to the internet unless you say 0.0.0.0/0 using IGW. Okay, internet gateway. Once you will add this entry in your route table, then only you will connect. That is not case with the Azure. Okay. User-defined routes are custom routes that control network traffic by defining routes that specify the next hop of the traffic flow. So understand next hop of the traffic flow. This is what I was discussing here. Okay. Now, when I say here, only the traffic from these two subnets will go, and here I will tell what is my next hop is here. How generally our courier delivery works, right? Wrong. Courier delivery. Courier delivery works in very similar way. Okay, just for the routing, next hop, not complete routing, from the next hop perspective. I dropped one courier at my courier office, right? Or my local post office. Okay, any register parts. What it will do? It will, let me local, it will collect all the parcels or the couriers. It will send to the head office. Okay, or the next place or the office where all the parcels, post, couriers comes from the respective city. Let's say comes from the 3 different locations to here. Now this office does the filtering based on where is the destination is. Now I'm in Bangalore and the mail are going to Delhi and mail is going to Chennai, right? Wrong. This office becomes our next hop for this. Okay, they will do a filter, means where to send the traffic, and what is my next hop is all the sorted letters, couriers for Delhi will be routed to this office, and for all the courier for the Chennai office will be routed to Chennai office. Now this becomes a next hop. In Chennai, once it will reach, it will see, okay, for which particular office or the post of this particular mail is, they will segregate, okay, based on their areas, and they will route the shorted mails, couriers to the respective destination, right? Once the postman or the courier boy will pick up from here and he will deliver to the respective. So this, all the nodes, nodal points or the agencies is nothing but in a network terminology is a next hop. Is that clear, guys?
Yeah, Bhudev, yeah.
Clear, right? The next hop can be a virtual network, gateway, virtual network, internet, or virtual appliance. So doesn't matter. If you correlate this, doesn't matter. If you look at this particular pictorial, now I'm coming from the internet or I'm going to the internet. Okay. Now, if you look at these, this is my VM appliance IP forwarding, means the router. Okay. This you call is a router. Okay. This is my backend subnet. This is my backend subnet. This is my front end subnet. Okay. Try to understand. This is my front end subnet. This is nothing but is a terminology. You can say this is my public subnet. This is my private subnet. This is my web subnet. This is my database subnet. Okay. This is an external subnet. This is an internal. This is nothing but is an terminology only. Okay. By default, within a VPC, both subnet can communicate. So this is in a system route. Okay. By default, both subnets can communicate, both resources in both the subnet can communicate, is the system route. Okay. Now, but for from front end subnet, from first end subnet, user defined routes can do the IP forwarding to my backend subnet based on my choice. Similarly, the front-end subnet based on user-defined routes can send a traffic to the next router. This next router again will use the internal system routes and will go to the internet. So which is a default feature is a system route, which is a custom is an UDR, user-defined routes. Any question, guys? Come on, guys. Any question? Anything?
So,
Is that okay or any question?
no, it's okay.
Okay. Now, routing examples. Okay. So multiple times you might have heard two-tier architecture, three-tier architecture, and trust me, no one will ask you two-tier architecture. What is two-tier architecture? Okay. Or what is three-tier architecture? He will straight away ask you question. Okay. Can you please explain me? Can you please explain me if you need to provide a solution to your customer? Okay. Or you want to troubleshoot an issue where customer is having a two-tier architecture or three-tier architecture. So what will be your approach to fix some routing issue, some network issue, okay, some connectivity issue? Or I'm having a typical three-tier architecture, and three-tier architecture is my web subnet, my job subnet, and my DB subnet. If I talk about this, this is very likely this. My web server should not be communicating directly to my DB server. Now, if this is a typical two-tier architecture, this is not in design. This doesn't exist. Then certainly your communication will happen like this, right? So you have a two-tier architecture, three-tier architecture. So if we say DMZ subnet, private subnet, public subnet is nothing but as an architecture. This all is being used as a different terminologies. Okay. So all traffic, guys, sorry, just I will take a call. Sorry, guys. So this public subnet, private subnet, DMZ subnet. So this is how we design. This is just a name. Okay. So the all traffic coming into the public subnet and headed for the private subnet, coming from the public and going to the private subnet must be go through the virtual network appliance. So this is a job subnet, right? This is a different subnet, but how this traffic will go is go via appliance. Okay, this is what is a virtual appliance is sit in the DMZ subnet. Now, if
So
you
what is
want to put any firewall, yeah, sorry, come again.
what is the virtual appliance here?
So see, any appliance, any device, I will not use appliance for moment. So any device which does the specific function, okay, specific function becomes an appliance. My router, okay, my switch, my F5 means the firewall, that becomes my appliance. Is that clear?
Yes, yes.
If you are aware, there is something called as an F5, okay, and I'm using for my one customer. Okay, what this F5 does, this does task of LB plus firewall. What is a LB is? LB is a load balancer, right? Wrong? What it does is does the task of specific of distribution of the load. This is one service. This F5 does the task of F5 means the LB plus FW firewall. F40 gate. Okay, what it does? Same appliance. Cisco firewall. What it does? It manages traffic, accept, reject, incoming and outgoing. Okay, anything, and it does the firewalling as well. So this becomes an appliance. Okay, it's a terminology. Is that clear? Have you heard IP tables? Anyone IP tables? Guys.
Yes, sir. That is OS level firewall.
OS level firewall. So that's an appliance. Now, if I say that becomes an appliance, very simple. Okay. See, this is not a work of OS, but it's a work of IP tables to control the network, the traffic, the right. That becomes an appliance. Is that clear, guys? Appliance. But
Yes.
here we'll use appliance term only. Okay, now you remember, come back. So we will use only the appliance. We will not use the router. We will not use the IP tables. We will do typically use the appliance. Okay. Now creating a routing table. Add a custom route that requires all private subnet traffic be directed to a network appliance. Associate the new route to the public subnet. Now, if you say what I'm having a route table, do I have any route table? No, right? But if you look at, we have certain networks, okay, VNet, and trust me, you can create resources any VNet, it will get connected to the internet. Okay, this is happening using what? This is happening using what? Anyone? System routes, right? Guys, is this boring session?
No, Gurudev.
See, when we were having a 1 week off, you came with the many questions in the next week. This time again, we was having a 1 week off and literally there was no question. So please concentrate. Okay. So this all happens using a system route. Now this route table, if I create a route table, look at here. If you look at the creation becomes very simple. Creation becomes very simple. This is in a route table. certainly the subscription and the resource group. I say I want to use this resource group. Which reason I want to create? I say is an my East. And guys, if you are working, did you noticed any change? Noticed any change in Azure in the past 1 week? Anyone? If not, trust me, there are multiple changes. Okay. Now look at, I want to say switch directory. Earlier, if you look at this list used to come here, right? If anyone remember.
Yes, yes.
Now it has changed complete thing. It was not asking me anything before. It was not asking me anything before. If I say this is my default one, if you look at, okay. Now this is my, because I'm there. If I say, it will immediately ask me, are you sure you want to switch the directory? And you want to make this in a default directory for your startup. Getting me? And there are couple of others as well. Okay, so these cloud, all the clouds are ever changing, means changing on a very speed. So come back to the route tables. So I will create a route table. The route table will go into my subscription, my resource group, and more importantly, I need East US. Okay, what should be the name of this route table? My route table, this will be, okay, understand this. Okay, propagate gateway routes means once we create this route table, do you want to automatically propagate the routes? Means if I create the route table here, do I do this route table should automatically propagate the routes to all the destinations, or I want to use it custom routes. If no option is selected, you need to add the routes. I will use same. Okay, next tags. So this tag is a same for everything. Okay, I say create. So my route table is created. Any question in the meantime?
Do we need to assign this route table to any network group?
Network.
How it will know this?
Yes, are coming. Go to resource. Okay, now if you look at right now, configuration, propagate gateway, we have seen it. Now the routes, add the route. What route name you want to edit? Getting me? What route you want to edit? I want to add DB. Any prefix means address prefix. If I say 192.168, right? Now, if you look at this particular thing, you need to define an address prefix, okay, from which you want to go ahead for generation of the route. What it will do? It will do only the address starting from 190.168.0.0, 192.168.0.0/24. Can someone tell me what will be the range and how many IPs it will allow? Anyone?
32 minus 24, that is 8, 2 to power of 8.
Correct. Come on. Next. 256, right? Wrong. So any address coming from 192 to 168.0.0 to 255. I'm not counting anything like what are the reserved IP and all, right? Wrong. If I say this 23, then what will be there? Then it will be from 0.0 to 1.0 to 255, means 512, right, guys? So this becomes my address prefix. Okay, how larger the network I am allowing it. If this is my particular subnet, right, I'm restricting. Now look at next hope, virtual network gateway, which is an appliance. Virtual network, internet, virtual appliance, none. You tell me now, if this is route to only within VPC, VNet, then which one you will use? Virtual network, right? Wrong. If this route is being used to have the route site to site, hybrid connectivity to the on-prem, which one you will use? Virtual network gateway. If this particular route table is going to be used to connect to the internet, where you will use internet, right? And if this is going to my, let's say, F5, okay, the firewall, then it will be my virtual appliance. Okay, and none is same, means I'm creating it, but it is not doing any action as of now. I will say my virtual network. This is my virtual network, and I say okay. Now it is adding a route to it, right? Now subnet, which subnet this route should be associated it. Now if you look at which virtual network you need, tell me now. I will use hub VNet. In hub VNet, I'm having a gateway subnet and hub subnet, which I want to associate. If I say hub subnet, now only the traffic from hub subnet to my VPC will be hub VNet, NSG will be allowed. Is that clear, guys? How to write a rule? Confusing? Properties of the configuration of this. Now, if you want to add this with another subnet as well, you say virtual network, hub VNet, add the subnet, gateway subnet, and this will control the traffic for both the subnet now. Is that clear, guys? Got it? Any doubt? Okay, associate the new route to the public subnet or a private subnet. Okay. Now, creating a route table. So if you look at, similarly, we have used how to create a route table, right? Route name, what prefixes, what appliances we are used, same is depicted in this slides. Okay, and add a subnet, finally associate to the subnet, and we have added to the subnet. Okay, associate the route table. Each subnet can have 0 or 1 route table associated to it. If 0 means it is using a system route only, default. If you want to use more than one, you can use. In our example, the public subnet will be associated with the routing table. We have used both gateway subnet as well as the public subnet, right? Any question, guys, for the routing? Please. No question, not understanding. Please come on, guys. Let me do one more thing. Okay, so this is hub network, right? I will take Spock. This is another okay VNet. This is in a public subnet. I'm adding a public subnet. So now you look at this particular route table. This particular route table is associated. This particular route table is associated with two different virtual network subnets. Is that clear? If you look at the address range itself. So this appliance, this is an appliance which control this user defined routes, right? This user defined routes. This user defined routes I have added to the internet. This is for the internal. This is associated with the subnet. This is forwarding to the appliance, this appliance, this. So we can create multiple route tables. Okay, we can create multiple route tables.
So route table is always associated with the subnet only, right?
Yes, yes. RTPVT, I will create another, and again is an East US. Okay, and name is RT2. Review and create. Okay, and created. Now this route table, I will associate in a different way. Okay, just give me, if you are getting any scenario, any question in mind, tell me. Accordingly we will play with this route table now. Guys, come on. Guys, tell me one thing. Really, you are giving some time to practice and reading Azure? Hello.
Yeah, Bhudev. Actually, yeah, I'm doing giving some time, but when I अभी ना networking पे पहुंचा नहीं हूँ, तो networking I am feeling a bit difficult.
Okay, no problem. So because this week, I don't know, might be is my understanding, I'm feeling your juice is on low. Okay, everyone's. Last to last week, really it was pretty high. Okay, for that purpose. Okay, so let's look at now. Go to configurations, same propagate or do not propagate routes. Okay, now if I want to add a route, okay, I will name it what address prefix. I say 20.20.0.0/28, right? This 28 using on internet, it should go. Okay, so trust me, now I'm adding this route table with this subnet. What will happen now? Hub VNet, though this is my hub subnet, what it says, this subnet is already associated with another route table. Gateway subnet is already associated with another route table. There are only two subnets. Now, if I go to another, and if I look at public subnet is already associated with route table. If I go to Spock VNet 2, this is not attached. Okay. I will attach it here. In this only /28, okay, only /28 in this route will be gone out from this subnet. If someone is trying beyond this range, will not go. Okay. So if I say I need to restrict access for the internet, I can restrict the access. Okay. This way I can restrict the access to the internet. Okay. I can allow a specific IP address, set of IP address, or the CIDR block. Now, routing example is done. Creating a route table, adding a route table to the virtual appliance, and adding a subnet. So pretty straight. Only we should know which route table is used for what subnet to do what routing. That's it. Means the attaching of wrong subnet can lead into the some security breaches. Example, if this is my DB subnet, I should not be connecting using which appliance? Internet. Is that clear, guys? Any doubt with the demonstration of the routing tables?
It's okay.
Now come again, very important. Okay, service endpoint. Service endpoints limit network access to specific subnets and IP addresses. Limits network access to specific subnets and IP address. Improved security for your Azure service resources. Okay. Optimal routing for Azure service traffic from your virtual network. Optimal means the controlled routing. Controlled routing means again using UDR, user defined routes. Endpoints use the Microsoft Azure backbone network. Security, peering. Okay, this endpoint is different, but peering use the same backbone network. Simple to set up with less management overhead. Okay, now look at here. Now you tell me, and this particular is my VNet. Okay, this my VNet. Okay, this is another VNet I have. Both are there in a cloud. Okay, this is my cloud is also there. Now in this particular VNet, I'm having a one subnet and I'm having a one subnet. What is the default nature is this can communicate to this. This can communicate to this. Is that correct, guys? Is that clear?
Yes.
System routes, right? And similarly, this can communicate and this also can communicate. Okay, this is 1 and this is 2. Now this is my DB. Okay, this is my database. If this is my database, it is taking a local backup. Local backup. Okay, now this needs to be stored in my storage account. Storage account is not in a VPC, VNet. Storage account is a different resource and is in a cloud, Azure. This is also in a cloud. This is also in a cloud. This is in a storage account. Now, this storage account is publicly available. When I say publicly available, means using this particular thing, HTTP, I can open the storage account. Okay, I can access it. So publicly accessible. So if I say publicly accessible, means this is traversing from the internet, right? Guys, and I feel this is a risk for me. Going over the internet is a risk for me. As all these things are in cloud, but even I'm using this VM to access my storage account, this VM to storage account, it is going via internet, and which is a risk for me. What I will do in this case, I will create a service endpoint. I will create a service endpoint, and this service endpoint will connect to this cloud using Azure Backbone Network. Is that clear, guys? Azure Backbone Network. If you look at here, this picture, I'm having this virtual machine address with 1.4 in this particular subnet, in this particular virtual network. If I need to connect, this is a service endpoint. If you look at, this is very tightly connected with subnet, not the virtual network. Remember, subnet. Okay. Now this subnet can connect to this account. Okay, to this account. In this account, I can allow VNet subnet, allow on-prem net IPs. If you look at here, this connection is coming from 1.4 and I have allowed here. Okay, so this becomes my service endpoint. Okay, guys, any doubt?
Your term is a backbone network. Azure backbone. And what is it? Azure backbone network.
Okay. Now, just forget this picture, what I explained just before this. Let's say this is my home. This is my home, right? Wrong. Let's say. And this is my router. Is that clear? This is my router. Let me draw it new. See, this is my home. Okay. And in home, this is my router. In my home, I'm having 3 computers. Right? Wrong. In home, I'm having 3 computers. They are typically connected in this way. Let it be a line, Ethernet line, Wi-Fi, or any other thing, right? Is that correct or not?
Yes.
Now, for this particular system, needs to access this. How it will go now? It has to come via this only, right? Is that clear? Not clear.
Yes.
It has to come via this only. Now what I do, I'm not using this way. I'm not using this way. I'm using this way. What I did from this router, I put a switch here, right? I put a switch here. And what even I did, I connected like this. Right? Is that possible?
Yes, yes, possible.
Now, if this machine needs to be communicate to this, is it required to go to the internet?
It will go through switch only.
It will go through the switch only. Even if it is down. So this network is my local area network, right? Right, wrong?
Yes.
And the same is an local area network is the Azure backbone network. Got my point? Is that clear? Because at any given point of time, it will not leave the Azure network. It will always remain within Azure network. Is that clear?
Yeah, yeah.
That is the backbone network. Okay. So if you look at here, it will not leave the Azure network. It is there in Azure. Internet starts from
Means
here.
if it is a within a Azure network, that is called backbone network.
Backbone. Not any backbone network is from the respective service provider. Okay. Azure backbone network, AWS backbone network, Google backbone network. Okay.
Okay.
This terminology is common across all the clouds. Service endpoint service. There are many types of service endpoint services. Adding service endpoint can take up to 15 minutes to complete. Okay. Now, let me go to the route tables. Now I say wrong window, endpoint. Okay, service endpoints. Create what you need. Service endpoint. Look at what is telling policy definition. Add resource. What resource? All will come with the Microsoft dot storage. Okay, add a Microsoft dot storage. Scope single account, all accounts in a subscription. Single accounts. Look at single account. Which account, which subscription? You need to select in a subscription. Which resource group? BPS RG resource group. Which resource? Now, if we have resource already created here, okay, resource created here, the resource will be listed here. Okay, let me, though we are still away from this topic, I will create one storage account. Okay, this will go up. I will say create. I say storage account. What storage account? This all definition I will BPS SA. BPS DB SA. Okay. So I got this name. Now this all I will discuss as of now. I will take locally redundant, next advanced, okay, networking. This I will explain. Okay, I am skipping for now. Okay, review and create. Great. Okay.
Creating a storage account. We are creating a storage account, right? So,
Yes, yes.
so what is purpose of a storage account? When we should use the storage account?
I just park this question. There is a specific topic altogether, not topic, chapter itself. Okay, not chapter, even a section like a networking, virtual
Okay.
machine.
Okay.
Okay, there is a, I will explain each and everything. Okay.
Okay.
So if you say endpoint, okay, what is service endpoints, right? Wrong. Say create. Now take any resource group. Now, if from the name, if you look at, okay, this clearly says BPS DBSA, means database storage account, right? Add a resource. You got on a BPS DBSA, right? Got it?
Yes.
Now you now add. I have added this to this particular endpoint. To this particular endpoints. Okay. Now add an tags and review and create. So currently I have created a endpoint for my storage account, right? Guys, coming? Not. I have created an endpoint of my storage account. Okay. Virtual machine. Create virtual machine. Okay. Resource group. VM1. Okay. Guys, if you look at right, it's like you ask a question of availability set. Okay. If I say the availability set right now, this availability set is here, and if you look at create new, I was discussing about this file domains and update domains. If you look at virtual machines in this file domains share a common power source and physical network switch. In update domain, no two machines can be updated or restarted at the same time. Okay. Now I'm not using this feature as of now. I simply need a VM for it. Okay. Okay. So now let me next disk networking. Let me have network only. Okay. Review and clear. Now let's say this particular thing right now. You have attached washroom, right? Wrong. in your houses, our houses, right? Wrong? Guys. Hello.
Yes, yes.
We have attached washroom. Okay. What does it mean? This attachment becomes an endpoint, right? Wrong?
Yes, door is there, means endpoint.
Right? The door is an endpoint, right? Now you have another washroom in common area, right? Wrong? Common. This can be accessed by anywhere, right? Wrong? Door becomes an endpoint, but this accessibility is public, right? Wrong?
Yes.
But this access is private because only person who can enter in this room can use this washroom. Is that clear?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Now, if I come to same once again, my service endpoint, okay, this is my service endpoint, okay. Now, policy definition, this is associated to storage account, right? Wrong? If I add a resource, Microsoft storage VM is not coming so far. Okay. Still not coming. Okay. I will create in different way. Okay. Now, another is an associate subnet, right? Wrong? Edit subnet association. Now, which subnet I want? Just a minute. PRIVA. Okay. Private link. Okay. We have something called database link, right? Wrong? We have something called database link. This link work like a database link, private link center, private endpoints. Okay. If I do explain the private endpoint and the service endpoint or the public endpoints, the difference is here. Okay. This will be already added. So okay. If apart from storage, you want to add certain other aliases, we can pick up this. We are not using now. We want to use now the restrictive access for my VM, which I have created. Restricted access for my VM, which I have created it. Okay. If I go to the virtual machine, if I say VM1, okay, networking, okay, effective security rule, IP configuration is for the VM. This we have. So okay, give me a moment. Okay, so storage account, because this restriction we need to put on a storage account. Okay, so networking. Okay, now look at here, this storage. I need to tell, okay, I need to tell from where this needs to be accessed. This needs to be accessed here. So if I go here, if I say all networks, what does it mean? Means is in a public, right? Wrong. All networks. If I say selected networks, it will ask me the selected networks. Which network can access this storage account? Which network can access this storage account? Add existing virtual network or add a new virtual network? No, I want add an existing virtual network. If I look at here, I'm having my networks, okay, all listed here. I'll say hub vnet, okay, hub vnet. Now it is asking me which subnet, okay, which subnet, which this option which I was looking from that end. Now I say only from the hub subnet, okay, means this storage account I'm creating an endpoint, and from only this subnet the resources can be accessed, this storage account can be accessed, okay, and this becomes a private endpoint now, okay. This endpoint, this connection will never ever go over the internet. It will always communicate over the private, okay. Now if you want to add any firewall, we can add the firewall as well here, okay, firewall. So now it will come here, the virtual network, save, okay. It should be saved, right? Okay, save. So if you look at my hub vnet, in this subnet is enabled to access this particular storage account. This becomes my endpoint. Add IP range to allow access from the internet or your on premises network. Let's say if I allow my IP, so my IP, this IP, now if you look at, this becomes the access for the firewall or from internet, means very granular level. I am allowing the access and resource instances, specify resource instance that will have access to your storage accounts based on their system assigned managed identity. Now if you look at, this is Microsoft workspace. If I say here, look at here, in all subscriptions, I say all in current tenant, okay. Resource type, okay, if there the resource should get it listed here, okay. I say in current subscription, my subscription, so all the available items. We can put an exception, allow trusted Microsoft services to access this Microsoft services, read services, write services, okay. And on top of that, even network routing we can define, okay. Microsoft network routing, internet routing, no, I need Microsoft internet routing. With this particular becomes our endpoint, okay. This becomes my endpoint now. Is that clear, guys? Any doubt? Fast. Look at now. So hub vnet, hub subnet, I'm able to, the moment I added a virtual network for the access, I can add the subnet also from the service endpoint now. Earlier it was not, because I haven't allowed the specific VNet subnet access to this particular service endpoint. Okay, this is what the list is. Private link. Private link connectivity to services on Azure. Traffic remains on the Microsoft network with no public internet access. Okay. Integration with on-premises and peered networks. In the event of security incident within your network, only the mapped resource will be accessible. This service endpoint, private endpoint, okay, is only can access this SQL databases using private link. Okay. Now select the resource type. Okay. So specific resources we can select. Servers, MariaDB, namespace, Microsoft. SQL servers is not there. Virtual machines. Do you see virtual machines somewhere? SQL server, DB servers, accounts. There's no Microsoft SQL server as of now. Okay, no problem. So let's say I will take, this is, let's say, my any database. Okay, MySQL, Postgres, MariaDB, any database. Okay, which I want to have an restricted access. So SQL server, yeah. Now resource, what resource? As I do not have any resource as of now, if SQL servers are there, it will get listed. Okay, I'm looking VM. Okay, so if VM is there, then if I say namespace VM in the servers, database account I don't have. I have storage, factory, SQL server, devices provisioning services. No. Vault, definitely I don't have. Workspace. No resource found. Again, I have to go with the storage accounts only because I have storage accounts. That is anyway we have. Okay. Now in this, right? So storage account, this I will discuss when we will discuss. So what different storage we want to access it. Now file. So I'm creating a private endpoint to access only the file storage, in my configuration. Which network is, I say hub VNet, which subnet, I say hub subnet. Okay, and this, it will automatically create a private link dot file. This file means I'm using a file storage, blob storage. Okay, that will come from queue storage, table storage, DB storage, and rest is going to remain the same. Private link dot file, private link dot blob, private link dot table, private link dot DB, private link dot queue dot co dot windows.net. Okay, I say review and create. Now it will create a private endpoint for this VNet to access my storage account. Means it will never ever go out of my Azure backbone network. Okay. This is how this we are creating now. Okay. Very important, Azure load balancer. Let me give you an overview, and this needs to be understood in bit detail. Okay. Ramesh, your question will come today. Okay. So hope everybody understand why we need load balancer and what is in a load balancer. Okay. So if I'm having 2 web servers, or let's say 3 web servers, I'm getting connected, means definitely if it is a web server or some public websites, then I will be connecting. Is that possible? This way, this is same site. This is same sites. All servers running same site. Let's say it's an Amazon app. To overcome this, so that the traffic can be or the load can be shared by all the available VMs, we create a load balancer. We create a load balancer, and this load balancer will have the public facing. This load balancer is a public facing as of now, and further it will do the traffic management or load sharing among these 3 instances or between available instances. Okay, this is a work of an LB. Now if I say scan listener, scan, what is a scan? Scan is a new feature of 11G. Before that, we do typically was using a load balancer, load balance, where we say in tnsnams.ora value is equal to true. Okay, scan is nothing but is a load balancer. Okay, so hope everybody understand load balancer, right? Any doubt?
Yes, Gurudev.
Now Azure load balancer, backend pools, public load balancer rules, internal load balancer, session persistence, load balancer SKU, health probes. Important. So what is this load balancer? This is a public load balancer, right? Any load balancer which connects to the internet outside world is in a public load balancer. Number 1. This is one part. Another part. Within this particular my environment, I'm having a 2 DB server, and they are running in active mode, and I create one load balancer here. Okay, and based on this particular servers will query to this particular load balancer, right? Let's say they need to fetch some information, and this internally will manage the traffic this way. This is called an internal load balancer. This is called an internal load balancer. Okay, so internal load balancer, and this is a private public load balancer. So public load balancer and a private load balancer, internal load balancer and external load balancer. Okay, the terminology. So Azure load balancer, the front end, this is a load balancer, load balancing rules and health probes. Backend pools is nothing but my servers only. This distributes inbound traffic. If you look at this, is an inbound traffic from these servers to this load balancer is an inbound traffic. Inbound traffic to backend resources using load balancing rules and health probe. Okay, what load balancing rules and health probe we will look at practically. Can be used for both inbound and outbound scenarios. Now, even this can be used for the inbound is the default nature, even for the outbound as well. Okay. Two types, public and internal, public and private, internal and external, but use public and internal. What is typically the scenario looks like? This is my cloud, this is my internet coming to TCP port 80. Let's say this is running my www.google.com. The site will come on the load balancer, and load balancer further distribute the traffic or the load across all the available instances on the defined port. This port and this port could be a different port. Okay, this port and this port could be a different port. So maps public IP address and port number of incoming traffic, port number of incoming traffic to the VM's private IP address and port number, and vice versa. Apply load balancing rules to distribute traffic across VMs or services. Load balancing rules, we'll discuss this. Okay. Now, load balancing SKUs means the stock keeping units. Backend pool can go with the 300 instances in basic. Okay. In standard, it can go up to 1000 instances backend pool. HealthPro basic SKU can do TCP and HTTP. It cannot do HTTPS. Okay. If you have a HTTPS requirement for the backend pool for the HealthPro, you have to go with the standard SKU. Availability zone feature not available in basic SKU, but in standard SKU, zone redundant and zonal frontend for inbound and outbound traffic is available. Okay. Multiple frontends inbound only. In standard SKU, inbound and outbound. Secure by default, open by default, NSG optional. Open basic SKU, open by default, NSG is an optional, but in standard SKU, close to inbound flows unless allowed by a NSG. Means here by default is open, but here we need to allow from the NSG. Internal traffic from the virtual network to the internal load balancer is allowed. Internal traffic from the virtual network to the internal load balancer is allowed. SLA not available for basic SKU. Standard SKU, the SLA is available. Is that clear? As this is only inbound, basic SKU do not allow internet access, but sorry, basic SKU do not allow, standard SKU allowed the internet access. How to create this backend pool? Okay. Load balancing rules, session persistence. Okay. So practical we'll do tomorrow. Okay. So to distribute traffic, a backend address pool contains the IP address of the virtual NICs that are connected to the load balancer. Okay. We are going to see practically how it works. Okay. Load balancing rules means on which port my traffic will go, maps a front-end IP and a port combination to a set of backend IP address and port combination. Means there should be a strong one-to-one relation between this connectivity. Okay. Similarly here. Similarly here. Okay. Rules can be used in combination with the NAT rules. NAT is network address translation. Means my traffic is coming from here 443 to my load balancer, but from here I want 80. Means something like a HTTPS, right? But here I want HTTP. Why I want HTTP? Because in this case, wherever you install the certificate for the secure CA certificate, it required a different license. Okay. VNet rule is explicitly attached to a VM or network interface, network card, to complete the path to the target. Okay. Session persistence, this we will look at, is specify how client traffic is handled. None means request can be handled by any virtual machines. Okay, session persistence. Client IP request will be handled by the same virtual machine. Client IP and protocol. Client IP and protocol specifies that successive request from the same address and protocol will be handled by the same virtual machine. Okay, this session persistence, okay, is there in 11g rack or not? If available, then what we call that? Hello. Guys, am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Bhudev. Yeah.
Okay. So these are the different kinds depending on the scenario, means how I want to handle is session persistence. Okay. Is as simple as that. If I say none means there is no session persistence, it will by default go in the round robin fashion. It will go by default in the round robin fashion. If I say my client IP means if request is coming from the specific client, the entire request will be serviced by the specific VM only. In this case, okay, apart from the performance for the specific client, sometimes we may have the hit for the performance for this VM if let's say it's running a very heavy job, right? And might be this particular VMs that time is working in very less resource utilization. Got it? That we'll discuss practically in portal. Okay. Health probe means allow the load balancer to monitor the status of an app. Means if there is no health probe, then how this load balancer will come to know whether this my VM is live, healthy or not, right? That's a health probe. Dynamically adds or remove VMs from the load balancer rotation based on their response to the health check. Means if due to some reason this VM goes down, automatically listener, this load balancer will remove from the configuration, and once it comes online, automatically it will add to the configuration. HTTP custom probe def ping every 15 seconds. Okay, this is a ping request. Okay, TCP custom probe tries to establish a successful TCP session. Okay, enablement. Then this is simple load balancer, and this is Ramesh your app gateway, application gateway, which is second type of a load balancer, and third is a traffic manager. We'll start with the practical tomorrow of the load balancer, then we'll go ahead with the app gateway. Is that fine, guys?
Yes.
Yes, Bhudev.
I have my now interview calls from
Okay.
11. Okay, any question, please let me know. Still we have a 2 minutes. Okay, no problem. And tomorrow we'll have full 4 hour of session, and then we'll continue. Okay, and please go through and
Yes.
let me know if there is any question. Please come with some 2 question at least. It's a good thing. Okay,
Bhudev, how many percentage we have covered?
look at 611. Okay, so 611. So approx 50, not complete 50, approx 50. Okay,
Okay. Okay, Bhudev.
okay, approx 50 is done. I'm telling based on the chapters. Okay, because further it depends on you. From my end is a approx 50, because if you have more questions, then I'm happy with that. Okay, and I want that you come with the questions. Okay, hello.
Yes, Bhudev.
Okay, I believe we are almost 50%. Are you hurrying completing course?
No, not at all.
No.
We
No, I'm not in
Uh,
hurry. Let me tell you. Okay,
same here. Same here, Gurudev.
I'm not in hurry.
Yeah.
Okay then.
So
Thank
Uday,
you.
one question. I
Yes,
am
please.
preparing. Yeah, I am preparing for AZ 900.
Good.
So, do you any means path? Yeah, do you any terms? Yeah, any suggestion for me how to proceed?
Suggestion is very simple. If you want to do a practice, okay, I did a practice. I took a 2 days of course training on a stress and completed course on action day because I was working. You take 1 week extra time, I would suggest, and go with this side.
Exam topic.
Okay. Exam topics. Please do not mug up the questions. Okay. What I like most, okay, this particular question is there, right?
Yeah.
Please read discussion. If you will read discussion, trust me, you cannot be fail.
But Uday, we try this this website for 19C exam,
19
Oracle
19
and
okay.
but we failed.
No, see what I am telling. So I believe you have not taken my and if you will mug up these questions, you will fail. You will not be successful. Okay. I'm telling you read these questions and you must read these discussions. Got my point?
Okay. Yes.
Trust me, you will not be failed at any cost. I can bet you. But whatever the discussion is happening, okay, please read this discussion, what they are telling, why they are telling. Trust me, you will not be failed. I can bet you.
Okay.
But if you will read only these questions, you will not pass because many of the options might have changed by now. Okay, because ever time changing. Okay,
Okay.
look at this. Okay, fault tolerance,
Mm.
elasticity, scalability, load latency. Now read this question. You may not answer it. You may answer it, but trust me, this will give you the thing you can answer 4 more questions apart from this particular question.
Yeah.
And if they are not giving, let's say fault tolerance is an answer for it. If they are not giving a fault tolerance, then what is the nearest one that you will come to know with this point?
Discussion.
This
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
See, whenever I am going with the exam, it helped me much in my AWS security exam. Okay,
Oh,
it helped much. Without this, I could not have completed my AWS security. And I read it, these particular things. And trust me, you will not be failed in AZ 900 after AG 104 training. Trust me. But you should understand the topic, you should understand the questions, and you can answer. Okay.
okay.
This I can suggest. Okay.
Mm.
Dumps will not work. Okay. Look at EC 900. The PowerPoint only. PowerPoint. Okay, guys. So let's discuss on this topic tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you.